the wild winds call. Jasper's walking, taking pictures of it all. Boots on the ground, heart in the sky, following the blazes, just a rambling guy. Through the valleys, over the hills, chasing that freedom, feeling the thrill. With every sunrise, he's finding his way, living the dream, one step a day. Trail named Jasper, walking on through, Bruce trail bound with a camera view, hiking the ridges, chasing the light. Like and subscribe.
Hi guys, Jasper here. Welcome to my channel, welcome to my day. We are back at Irish Mountain Lookout. You remember that. We were here just a few days ago when we talked about the Underwood Aggregator trekking pole tent. Okay, if you've been watching our videos, you'll know we took that out on a 2-day, 1-night camp and kind of what we thought about it. But you know what? One thing I would like to mention, or just kind of stress, if you will, the tent has a place. It certainly does for the right person. And this is the right person. Essentially, no taller than 5'10". If you're 5'10" or less, that tent I would recommend if you're into a lightweight, backpacking, one person, pretty much battle-proof tent. It's solid when it's set up, and I do believe that it will protect you from the weather. I only had about 45 minutes to an hour of generally light rain when I was in that tent, and I had no issues with that. The water was beating perfectly. And if a person did have trouble with the seam sealing from Underwood, it's very easy just to seam seal those corners yourself, just for the added protection. So I do recommend the tent for $75. That's it. Speaking of tents, we are back. Another tent. Oh yeah, another tent. This time, I've had my eye on this tent for, I bet it's 2 years. Thinking about it, looking at it, just now and then, kind of looking at reviews, reading reports, seeing what others had to say. And of course, I always look at the UK hikers, simply because it's so windy most of the time, a lot of the time, so rainy most of the time, a lot of the time in the UK, that whatever works for them would certainly work for me, probably, as far as the rain and the wind is concerned. Having said that, the tent we have today has some pretty damn good reviews. It's a budget tent. Not the lightest of tents, but it's still in a lightweight or ultralight category, coming in at a total of 3 pounds for the 2-person, which is what we have here. There is a 1-person version which comes in, I think, at something like 2.4 pounds. We're looking today at the 2-person tent. The tent we've got today, well, it's the Lanshan. Now, there is a little bit of a difference. You'll notice on the box it says Nightcat. So, a little bit about the company. The company is licensed in 2 divisions, if you will, or 2 licensings. One is the, I think it's the 3GUL, and the other one is Nightcat. The tents are manufactured in the same factory. Both of those 2 companies are licensed to produce these tents. They're identical tents in every way, shape, or form, except one, which I'll tell you about in a moment. And so one of the companies calls its Lanshan, the Nightcat Lanshan. The other company calls its Lanshan the 3UL Lanshan. Identical tent, same in every way, shape, or form, made in the same factory. The only difference is, supposedly, I don't know, and you can get a basic, if you will, if you want to call it that. You can get the Lanshan 1, the Lanshan 2, or you can get the Lanshan 1 Pro, the Lanshan 2 Pro. The difference between those 2 tents is one is a single wall, one is a double wall. The Pro is a single wall tent. you know, I'm really torn with the single wall tents at times. You do get that less weight, but a double wall tent is so much better as far as condensation is concerned. Anyhow, as I was going to say, the only difference between the two companies is the Nightcat comes already seam sealed. Apparently, the 3UL Lanshan does not come seam sealed. They do send you with your tent what you need to seam seal it yourself. Let's open the box. Let's try to open the box. What are we going to get? Well, okay. So this bag, if you will. Oh, and instructions. Instructions are right there. So this is the color. This is the color of our tent. Right here. It's got Nightcat written right on it. It's a nice kind of compressional stuff sack. Yeah, I can tell, not the lightest of the tents I've had. The Underwood came in at 2.1, I believe, or 2.2 pounds, or 2 pounds 2 ounces, 2.1 ounces, something like that. I think it was 2.2 ounces. This is, as I say, 3 pounds. And you do notice the difference. 2 buckles. And oh, so it's a roll top bag. So we have a roll top bag. We do have, nope, there's not a handle on the bottom, but there's a roll top bag. Oh, it's in there quite tightly. So one little thing about, well, we might need those instructions with this tent. One little thing about rolling your tent and putting it back in the original bag. You may have noticed, I'm not sure if you did notice, but it took me quite a pull to pull that out. It's in there tight. On a cold morning on a trail, it's maybe wet, it's maybe windy, depending on the time of year. For instance, I've done many trails, the Appalachian, the Colorado, and I get up in the morning, your fingers are cold, it might be wet, but it's definitely cold at times. And if your fingers are cold, rolling this and then trying to put it back in a tight stuff sack is painful. It's painful and a challenge to the hand. I am definitely going to use one of my slightly bigger stuff sacks and just stuff the tent in there. It's much easier. Instructions. User manual. Oh, it looks like we've got Chinese. It looks like we've got Spanish. Maybe English. Forget about it. Oh, maybe not. Okay, oh, there's a strap. Now the way this is packed in here kind of again gives me that indication that this has been set up before. It has a strap on it with a buckle. Okay, I don't know. Maybe not, maybe it is rolled quite tightly. There's stakes. There's no poles with this. This is a two trekking pole tent required. And do we have any stakes? Oh, we do. We have stakes. Let's see what we're getting for stakes. So they come in there matching kind of material and color bag. And, okay, so it looks like we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we get 10 stakes. Now these are better than what we got, the shepherd hook ones. Wow. I just noticed those little hooks right there, super sharp. Wow, like little needles. You want to watch that with your fingers. Anyhow, the ones we got with the Underwood Trekker, the tent we just reviewed, was a shepherd hook, which are fine, but I didn't like them. These look to be better, although I noticed on the edges, sharp. You could cut yourself easy with these. Okay, so there's going to be no trekking poles with this. There's going to be no tent poles with this, and of course you don't get trekking poles. It's assuming you have your own trekking poles. If not, then you have to get some. And again, exactly what I did last time. Mine are in my van, which is right over there if you can see it from here. So I'm going to go over there. I'm going to get my trekking poles. Okay, guys. 2 trekking poles. I'm using my black diamonds today. 110. Okay, let us, whoop, getting caught on the lines already. Okay, So, generally speaking, and there we go. Generally speaking, I look for the four corners. Now, keep in mind, we have not set this tent up yet. This is our first setup of this tent. So keep that in mind. And it's windy. Also keep that in mind. Right there. Okay. There's two corners. We're going to stake out the four corners of the tent. Now, the inner comes pre-attached, I see, to the tent, or to the outer. Sometimes they don't, but this one did. We'll connect or stake out the two corners, 45-degree angle. Okay. Try to keep it a rectangle, and the line's on a 45-degree angle. This ground is very rocky. Let me get a rock. It was rocky last time, it's rocky now. But the same rock I used is right here. Same rock I used for the underwood. Got a rock. There we go. Okay. There we go. Fourth, final corner. Okay. Okay. Fine. Looks to be a rectangle. Trekking pole number one. I've watched videos. We're going to start at 125 centimeters. Okay. We shall unzip the door. Again, keep in mind, they have Velcros and of course a zipper. Keep in mind, we have not set this tent up before. We have owned a trekking pole tent before for a short period of time. I see. That's kind of hooked on there. Not sure if that's supposed to be. Oh, that's a shepherd's foot. Oh, sorry, a ram's horn foot. Okay. Obviously they play a role, but I don't know where yet. Okay, so I can tell right at this peak here, there is a reinforced padded area. So that is obviously where we're going to put the handle of the trekking pole. Okay. Okay. Let me just check. Let me see if the bathtub has like a connection for the bottom of the trekking pole. Let me just check that. Oh, and it does. It has a bungee. Okay. Okay. I should have put that in first, probably. Definitely. Okay. So it has a bungee. Wow. This looks like a long way out, but we're just going to stake it there for now. So I want to work first of all on shortening those lines, or that line anyway, because that makes it into such a big footprint. Okay, second trekking pole, 125, 125, So this time, yeah, there it is. So this time we will put the trekking pole in the shock cord on the bathtub rather than trying to do it after the fact. Okay, find the padded or reinforced area. Put our handle of our trekking pole in there, and well, again, that thing's hooked on there somehow. They must come like that. Okay. Take that hook off there. There we go. And again, look, this comes a long way out. A long way. Which we don't want that distance, or I don't, but you might need it for stability, I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. So, essentially, the tent is up. Let's close the doors now to check our tension. There, that's centered. Door is closed. Let's close this door. Okay. So that door is closed. Now, let's take a look at these corners of the fly, because I can see, and I know from watching the videos myself, they have hooks just like that, or loops actually, loops. There's one. There's two. And they have buckles, so we can adjust those. We'll just adjust them gently for now, just to keep them in place. And that pulls our fly sheet taut, just like that. Okay, just a little bit, okay. And one more corner. So I knew about those loops on the corners of the fly sheet simply from watching other hikers' videos. Okay. At that point, the tent is essentially ready. Quite stable. Okay, I'm going to stake out one side of each door. I'm gonna grab my rock, because again, we're erecting this tent in a very rocky location, which is fine. Okay. 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 So tent is essentially erect at that particular point. We do have two gayouts on the side, so let's just take a look at those. Gonna have to use my rock again. Okay. Okay. I'm just tweaking each corner. Okay. Well, I've got a... Okay. Wow, super solid. Unbelievably solid. Okay. Let me get you guys off your mount. Okay. Okay, so we just set this up in whatever amount of time it took for the first time. And we've got some issues, but generally speaking, the tent is erect. But as you can see, we have this here. Now that tells me that if I pull on this, which I can't, that doesn't seem to do anything to help me there. The vestibules, doors, they seem to sit just fine. And again, extremely solid. Wow, very stable. So some tweaking is going to be required, so when I set up, I'm not getting those creases. If anybody's got experience with this tent, please comment below. Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah. Huh, because I do not. So yes, comment below if you have experience with this particular tent. I'm okay with it right now. If I was at the end of a long day of hiking, I arrived to a camp, set my tent up like this, I'd be climbing in there and going to bed. I would not have a problem. However, I do want to figure out how, yeah, so if I pull on this, so maybe, yeah, I see an issue right here. So let me take that out of there. So I do see an issue right here. So let me put that stake over there. Now, let us, my little stand came off my GoPro, sorry about screwing you around here, but doing things with one hand and recording everything else. Let's just extend this out because it was way in, and I'm not sure why I did that. But then again, there's a lot of things I'm not sure why I do them. It's trial and error. Let's put that over there. Ah, yeah. Now take a look at that. That made a huge difference. Huge difference. Very much so. Okay, okay. So those corners, if I can tweak those corners maybe. You know, don't know. Again, let me just put you down. I'm sure if you can see what you're doing, because I'm just thinking of this as I go along. I'm not, again, I have no experience whatsoever with this particular tent. That one. Oh yeah, there we go, look, same thing. So, yeah, tweaking as we go make a big difference. Yes. You know what? A little technique we use with a trekking pole tent, I see it all the time with the Z-Packs guys and so on. They get a couple of sticks. Is this a stick? Oh, hang on, I gotta get a couple of sticks. Wait right there. Okay, two sticks. Now, if we take one of those sticks, and I just cut myself, but let me put you down again, and I'll show you this. We're gonna stick the guy line. Yes, we are. Just like that. Look at this. Whoops. Maybe not just like that. There we go. See? Cut myself getting those sticks. I actually stuck one of those sticks right in into my thumb. Anyhow, that is pulling out or towards us more, that side of the tent. Let us do the same on this side. Yeah, let us do the same here. Again, I'm going to put you down a minute. I'm going to put that stake in there, or that stick. Will it hold? Will it stay there? I don't know. Yeah, and that pulls out. Okay, you know what? I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. Solid. Okay, let's open up some doors. Well, let's do a walk around. See the color? I was looking for something more stealthy. I'm always looking for lighter, and this wasn't any lighter. In fact, we went up, I think, from my tiger wall. I think I've gone up 6 ounces or something in weight. With a smaller footprint. This does not have a smaller footprint, but it's definitely stealthier than the white of my tiger wall, no doubt about that. Okay, let's take a look inside. Okay, I've opened the 2 doors on one side and the one door of the inner mesh. Something I noticed that's really quite neat, and I really want to show you this because I think this is super. Because with my tiger wall, whenever I put it up, and I'm not 100% sure which end is slightly higher than the other, you have to put that tent up in a specific direction, if you will. So your head is a little bit higher or flat than your toes. What you don't want is your head to be lower. And often I've not been quite sure, and I've ended up having to sleep with my head at the toe box end. This doesn't matter with this tent. I'll show you why. Or not to me, anyhow. Okay, so first of all, there's buckles, if you will, little buckles on each particular item, such as the fly, both sides, the mesh, the trekking pole, of course. So let's go inside and take a look, see. So first of all, what I'm seeing is, okay, yeah, there's a seam right there, and it's sealed. You see that? Hope you do. And the reinforcements are sealed. So, what I was just talking about is, on this side, let's call this the left side, the door is, as my band-aid keeps coming off, is here. But on this side, there's no door there. It's here. So it doesn't matter. Sleep on that side, put your head there, that's where you climb out. Sleep on this side, put your head here, that's where you climb out. Does not matter. The mesh. Well, the mesh is great. Just excuse my band-aid. I had an old band-aid. I put it on. That little wound look was just gushing a lot of blood, but anyhow, it seems to have stopped, hopefully. Oh, maybe not. Anyhow, on the Durston I got, the Durston X-Mid one, which was trekking pole 10, and highly kind of reviewed, if you will, revered. You could almost put your finger right through the mesh. This is a nice no-seam mesh, and it's really quite solid. Yeah. Let's lay down. So, I am 6'2". So this tent fits me. Here's my head. So I'm right at the top basically, and I'm basically at the bottom. I've still got 6 inches at the bottom, but I don't particularly want my head or my feet touching the mesh. Because if it does, it might push it into the fly sheet, and then I would get moisture on the inside from condensation and so on. But there's nice space, if you can see. Maybe I can put you through here. I don't know if you can see what I'm trying to show you, but there's good space between the fly sheet and the mesh. Looks like all around. That is perfect. It's exactly how it's supposed to be. Okay. Vestibule space. Well, let's just first of all open this. Okay, so you've got 2 zippers. It's double zippers. Fair enough. One-handed, you saw that. And this is your vestibule space. You have lots of space for a backpack, hiking shoes, cooking, and you've got a vestibule on both sides, a door on both sides. Yeah. On both sides at the top is the vent, right up there. You have one of those on each side. Something you don't have, that to me is a con, a fairly major con. Something this tent appears not to have is pockets of any kind. Oh. Wait. I see. Okay, so we do have one pocket here where this label is. I'm going to be taking that label off. So we have a pocket here. So that pocket would be, I don't know, one pocket. Whatever you want to put in there. Cell phone, your night light, whatever. Yeah, so definitely not. Well, we have one pocket. It's the only pocket I see. I know on some versions, but it might be just the 3UL company that put a pocket on each end. Anyhow, there's no pocket on the other end. So, that's it. What do I think? Well, obviously, I haven't been out in the weather. I haven't been out in the wind. I haven't been out in the rain. All we've done is set it up for the first time. Is it a perfect pitch? Well, no, it isn't. But trekking pole tents tend to be a bit tricky. It is something you want to put up a few times before you really start getting onto it and how to tweak it. We did come up with a few little ideas to tweak as we went. I'm also going to change some of the cords. I'll put a shock cord on the door or the vestibule kind of guy outs. It's easier to open and close, and it gives you a little bit more flexibility, I think. I see reinforcements, but all kind of connection points. I'm seeing reinforcements. I can see where here, for instance, I haven't got this lined up. It should be here, but it's over there. So that's obviously part of my problem. It should be like this, and if I do that, it takes away the crease. See? So that's just a matter of me tweaking my setup, I think. But you know what? Again, as like I just said, if I just hike 25-30 kilometers, and I got to camp, and this was my camp for the night, and I set up, I'd be fine with this, totally fine with this. The bathtub. The bathtub feels really quite substantial. Would I save a few ounces, 5 ounces, and not carry a Tyvek with this? Probably not. I would probably still want the protection of my Tyvek, because in here, if I'm sleeping at this side or whatever, I want the Tyvek underneath this, underneath the bathtub, because then there'd be the Tyvek, the bathtub, then my Thermarest NeoAir ultralight sleeping pad, which is $275 now. So I find the Tyvek, I haven't had a problem with anything in all the years of hiking and using Tyvek. I've had no problems with anything coming through the bottom of my tent and puncturing my my air pad. Well, not coming through the bathtub floor of the tent, period. That's never happened to me, and I don't want it to, and I put that down to Tyvek. That's why I'm a lover of Tyvek for footprints. So, what's my first impression all about? Well, my first impression is, I'm going to say okay. I really can't give a real review or anything on this tent until I've had this through some weather several times. Today is Friday. Oh, by the way, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving to my Canadian supporters and viewers. Because yeah, it's Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend. So today's Friday. Monday morning, I am planning on leaving on yet another 2-day, 1-night hike, 50 kilometers. And more about that come Monday morning once we start. And of course, I will be using this tent for that particular hike. We've sold the Big Agnes Tiger Wall. The only reason I sold that tent was simply because it's essentially white or a light cream color. And on certain trails, such as our Bruce Trail, for instance, it's just not stealthy enough. Even say here, for instance, where I am right now is a public park. This is a public park with a view. Can you see the view, by the way? I'm pointing right in the sunshine. People are coming and going. It's a public park. It's called Irish Mountain. Of course, Irish Mountain Lookout. Of course, it's not a mountain. We're on the Niagara Escarpment. Yeah. And you can see, way over, well, Georgian Bay right there in front of us, part of Lake Huron. But you can't see, down there's the community of Meaford, Blue Mountain in the distance. So, this is a public park. And when you're sat in a bright white kind of tent, it sticks out like a neon light on a London street at night. It really does. But this tent, I went with the brown because most times I'm in the forest, but it's much, 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 much more stealthier. I would have liked something slightly smaller, a slightly smaller footprint, slightly lighter, but you know what, for the price, and we're going to talk about price, we're going to talk about that. In fact, let's just, as we look around the tent, let's talk about what this cost me. So first of all, we're speaking in Canadian dollars because we bought this from Amazon.ca in Canada, where I live, Ontario. And it was 265 Canadian dollars plus tax, which came to 305 Canadian. What is 305 in US? Oh, is it 200? Let me see. No. Be about 220 US dollars. Now, I wanted to make sure that the tent was here, and again, this is Thanksgiving weekend, so I did pay for expedited shipping, which was another $12 or $13 on top of that. So I paid about $327 with expedited shipping, and I got this overnight. So I ordered it one day, it came the next day, which was yesterday, by the way. So that's the numbers on this tent. There was another tent I was looking at. Still am. And that's the Neo Ornate Osmo 2-person. But that will cost me another $300 more than I paid for this. That's like, well, more than 300. No, yeah, more than 300, about $310, $315 Canadian more than I paid for this particular Lanshan. So I'm really hoping this Lanshan suits my needs. Size-wise, inside, great, love that. Vestibule space, love that. Love the zippers, not a problem. As far as setup, not a problem. I could tweak it as I learn more about the tent. Durability, time will tell. How good's it going to be in the wind and the rain? Time will tell. Doesn't feel any different than my. It's nylon, by the way, so it's a silicone impregnated or treated nylon. I believe it's 20 denier, and it's rated at 5,000. A 5,000, which I think is milliliters of water rating, which is somewhat standard on decent tents. It's what you're going to get. Yeah. Hey. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you. Hope you like it. Please comment below if you've got experience with these tents, good or bad or indifferent. Let me know. Tell me if you've got any hacks, if you will, for the setup. I don't have a problem with it. Again, I can tweak it a little bit here and there, get rid of those ripples on the side. I'm sure I can do that. But the setup was pretty basic, to be honest with you. It's pretty self-explanatory. But again, I've set up many different tents over the years, so you have that experience. I mean, how hard can it be, even though it's a trekking pole tent, how hard can it be to set up a tent, right? Okay, thank you for joining me today. Have a great day. Stay tuned for our next videos. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. We need you to subscribe. Smash that button, subscribe, click that bell, click that like, and send this. Share it with your family. Maybe they want to watch my videos. I don't know. Bye.